Hello, my name is Gustavo Rangel, and this is my assignment, students with ADHD. Now, students with ADHD, or attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, commonly known as ADHD, is one of the most common neurodivergent development disorders of childhood. Symptoms start in childhood and often last into adulthood. Children with ADHD have a hard time focusing, sitting in class, paying attention, being overactive, and regulating their impulse control. Now, identifying a student with ADHD starts before the age of 12 and typically must present six characteristics from one or more of the three subgroups of ADHD. So, now, some characteristics that students with ADHD show depends on the student, but it's typical for students to struggle on concentrating in the classroom, staying focused on one task. Sometimes they'll jump from one task to another. They'll quickly lose focus on one thing and become, interested in another. They have a hard time sitting down, and then sometimes they'll have a hard time controlling their voice, especially their voice level, sometimes yelling at inappropriate times or just out of nowhere. Now, sometimes they'll struggle with following directions. They'll be forgetful. They'll read something and they'll forget what they heard. And then also, of course, controlling their emotions, which can be a problem when trying to make friends with other students. Now, some strengths and assets of students with ADHD. Sometimes they can have good comprehension skills on a certain subject that interests them, and further down the line, they can be labeled as GT, gifted and talented. Now, of course, one way of kind of getting them to focus a little bit would be to tailor assignments and instructions to that student's interest can help with keeping their attention. Giving them a little extra time can go a long way, especially when they're feeling overwhelmed, or making them feel less overwhelmed. Now, some challenges and needs. Children with ADHD experience more obstacles than an average student. Listening during class can be a challenge, and staying still with students fidgeting in their chairs or running around the class, making it hard, being a distraction to other students in the classroom can make it difficult to teach a class. And of course, keeping their voice at an appropriate level, sometimes shouting during inappropriate times, and then sometimes they would often grab belongings without asking permission, which would, of course, cause a scene, and then making you having to stop class to deal with to address the issue. Sometimes, of course, they're regulating their impulse control. They would often just act out and just do things on a whim, without stopping to think about what they're really doing. And of course, that could, get them in trouble, with the teachers or with other students. Now, some educational supports and accommodations, making instructions very clear for students, not using, what's the word? Oh my gosh. But not using, sarcasm in the classroom, being very upfront, keeping the instructions simple, can make it a little easier for them to follow along. Allowing them to take breaks, because of course, a student with ADHD, focusing for them takes a lot of effort and can be very exhausting for them. So, they would get overwhelmed, frustrated, and tired very quickly. So allowing them to have those small breaks can go a long way in helping them. Of course, organizing the classroom to be less distracting. Having them sit closer to the teacher, so that way, they could be more accessible for help. And then, of course, providing them tools, organization tools such as folders, binders, to kind of help them keep track and kind of give a kind of a load off for their brain on organizing things up there. Now, some IEPs and a 504 plans can offer accommodations for students, such as more time on a test, or using technology during a test, such as a calculator, or another role of the teacher. Giving frequent feedback and positive reinforcement can help students kind of stay engaged. And of course, students with ADHD have trouble with changes, and giving them warnings ahead of time before a situation change can kind of help them ease into that changing situation. And of course, being aware of a student's emotions, for they may fluctuate, and helping them regulate to their emotions, so kind of like being a caregiver, being compassionate towards them, creating which of course would mean, creating a friendly environment, that accommodates them, in the classroom, is essential for their future success. And here are my works cited. Thank you.